Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Tech Stack Learning. I hope you all are doing good, and also you would have watched my previous sessions about Node.js, the two tricks and tips of or the best practices to be considered while you are coding using Node.js. And this is another session of the tips where we will be talking about the next tip, that is async. Why we need to use async to handle both parallel and sequential executions. Okay. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, if you like my video, please go ahead and subscribe, like, and comment. And if you have any questions around the Node.js development, please go ahead and put your comments in your comment box. Okay, so now let's get started. So why to use async, right? It's a non-blocking operations, um, which means it handles input output tasks without blocking the main thread. Like basically it will help in improving the performance. Okay, simplified asynchronous code, so makes like handling callbacks and promises easier to read and maintain. Error handling provides cleaner and more structured error management compared to traditional callbacks. Concurrency is another one, which basically allows execution of multiple tasks in parallel without waiting for one to complete. Okay. Then comes code readability. So AsyncAwait improves code readability, making asynchronous code look like a synchronous. Okay, better flow control like helps manage complex async flows like loops, conditions, and sequential tasks more efficiently. This is the reason why to use the async in your coding practice. So let me go ahead and create the file, and we will get started with on some of the examples how to use on parallel and the sequential execution. Okay, this is the seventh tip, so I'll just name it as async par seq exec. Okay, I'm sorry, I have to rename this again. um, okay, so first we will see sequential execution with async await, like simplified code flow, which we talked, right? Using async await allows you to write asynchronous code that executes in a sequential manner, making it easier to follow and debug. Okay, so here first let's take uh, const task 1 equal to new new promise of resolve, set timeout, set timeout, resolve. Okay, what we are trying to do here is we are creating a task, and that task we are just trying to resolve using the set timeout. Okay, so we will say that task 1 is completed. Okay, then we will time out within 1 seconds. Okay, 1 second. Okay, this is the first task. So same way I'm going to create another second task. Okay, I'm just copy pasting it. So task 2, new promise, resolve, set timeout of 1000, and then we will say task 2 is completed. So we have two tasks being created. Now we'll try to execute this task sequentially. Okay, execute sequentially. Then we will do a async of, then we will just try to call those tasks. Okay, So what we will do, const uh, result 1 equal to await task 1. Okay, we are calling task 1. Then we will call the task 2, result 2 await task 2. And what we will do is, here we will try to print. Okay, so we will print result. So once the task is completed, it will print the what is that resolved statement, right? So let me print here result 2. Okay, so we have created one function. So now let's try to call this function and see how it's getting responded. Okay, always ensure you guys use the semicolon. That is the best practice. Okay, so tips, let me go here and let me run 7. Can see task 1 is completed and task 2 is completed. This is basically sequentially execution with async and await. Like what we did is, we just created 2 tasks. We just called this, we have made this task 1 called, we called made it to await. Once it is completed, print this, then go to the next task. This is how we do the sequential execution. Now let's see how to do the parallel executions. Okay, so concurrent tasks, like we use promise all to run the multiple asynchronous operations in parallel, improving the performance by utilizing concurrent execution. Okay, now with the same thing, we have task 1, right, and we do have the task 2. Now try, well, let's create another function called parallel execution. Okay, so what we will do, async. Okay, then what we will do here is, we will just create a const file, const with 2 result. Okay, we will give result 2. Okay, then what we will do, await promise dot all of task 1, task 1 comma task 2. Okay, so this is how we do this promise all, and let's try to print this one and see. Okay, result 1 and result 2. So here what happens is, it will be all these tasks will be executed parallelly. As and when the tasks are done, the results are assigned to the respective variables and gets printed. So instead of parallel sequential executions, I'm going to call this parallel execution now. Okay, you can see both, it did not wait, right? It was executing parallelly, and you saw the difference. It immediately gave the results, right? In the previous one, it just waited for a few seconds, then it gave the results, right? So this is how you use a promise all to execute the task parallelly. Okay, now handling errors in parallel executions, like if one of the promise in this gets rejected, that the entire promise call will reject with the reason of the first rejected promise. So how do we handle that? Like use try catch to handle the errors in parallel executions, or you can use promise all settled if you want to handle each promise results individually. Okay, so for the for example, to replicate this, what we will do now, for the first task we will just reject. Instead of resolve, we'll just give a reject. Okay, so let's do that. Here we will do reject. Okay, and instead of resolve, we will just say that task 1 is failed. Okay, and task 2, we can say let this get completed. Okay, I don't want to change that. And now if I have to handle with error, right? So what I'll do, I'll just let's go with a parallel only. Okay, just creating another function uh, with error. Okay, so what will happen here? uh, Same thing, task 1 task 2 completed, and what we will do here is here we will do a try catch. Okay, uh, so whatever is there inside, I'm going to paste it inside try catch. Okay, then console log, and whenever we have an error, that is when we have to catch, right? So what we will do, we can just print the error. And error occurred, this is the error. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll call this function. Okay, so here it cached and it had printed, right? Say it, what happened is it stopped, it did not print the results because there was an error in one of the tasks, right? So that is how it gave you the error like task 1 failed, it did not execute properly. So now how, like if you want to use the all settled scenario, right, allows you to wait for all promises to settle either fulfilled or rejected and provides the result for each promises including their status. Okay, so here what we did is we just aborted the task completely with, because one task had the error, right? Now let's see how to use this settled, all settled. Okay, so what we will do is here, instead of all, we will do all settled. Okay, we will use this all settled, and what we have to do is once the, we will not have this array. Okay, we will just have results, it will be in array. Okay, so what we will do, results dot for each. Okay, result, we will just have an index as well. Okay, um, for each results, and then what we will do, whenever uh, for each result we will try to see the status. Okay, so what we will do, if result dot status equal to fulfilled, then print this. Okay, so we will just put console.log stating that uh, so we will do result dot value. Okay, um, else else we will put result dot reason. Okay, so we will remove this. So we don't need this try catch here because we are using the settled. Okay, I'm going to remove this. So let's execute and see. So it processed each task individually, and accordingly it gave you the results, right? This is how we can use the all settle if you want to handle all the tasks properly. Okay, next we can see how do you combine sequential and the parallel executions. Okay, so we have task 1, we will just we will do one thing. We will create task 1 resolved and task 2 also resolve and task 3 also resolve. Okay, so what I'll do here, this one I'll just comment for now, and I'll just create, we'll create two tasks. Okay, so we'll just name them 1, 2 and 3. So this will be 1, 2 and 3. So we have 3 tasks now. Okay, now let's create another function. How do you call these two together, right? So const execute mixed equal to, so here we are trying to combine both, right? So here so what we will do, await task 1. Then what we will do, await task 1, right? And we will do another 2 tasks parallelly, like we will have result, so result 2 and 3, and here we will do task 2 and 3. Okay, so promise all, correct? So now let's print like a console log for these and see the results. Okay, so here I think, let me assign, I'll do one thing. So task 1 completed, then we will put result 2 and result 3. Okay, now let's call this function and see how is it executing. Task 1 completed, task 2 is completed, task 3 is completed, right? This is how we mix up the the sequential and the parallel executions. So now you will have a good idea on this particular best practice, which you have to use is like use AsyncAwait for sequential parallel executions, and how do you handle those promises individually and handle the things with all settled, right? So I hope this video has given you all a good idea on how to use it. If you like my video, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel for the next upcoming tips. So we will catch you all in next session. Thank you.